Welcome, everyone, back on board the Jungle Valley God Touch farming train. Off of the two-pronged strategy, I decided I'd go ahead and showcase yet another 100 maps on the Jungle Valley speed juicing. I did mention this is that the Colonnade in the last video is how I am now acquiring like this many 8-mod corrupted maps. That's a lot of maps, guys. And this stash tab, one quad tab, still didn't cover me finding over 600 maps. We also got a bunch of them in here. Right here, we got 100 maps here, and based on the findings of the last video, I am only counting these at their default value because I just found so many of them, and I'm not trading them away. One quick correction from last video, I made a mistake, a pretty egregious mistake, actually, in my calculations. I evidently forgot to factor in the investment cost when I was checking the currency per hour. I believe it's first and only time I've ever done that. Fortunately, a viewer caught that after the fact, and I was able to put corrections in and subtitles on that. I suggested that I made 19 divines an hour on top of finding the maps, but actually I only made around 11 divines an hour, so pretty big difference there. So I do want to just express my that mistake, and I will try very hard not to let that happen again. So moving on. There are a couple different reasons I want to make this video in particular. One of the reasons is because I mentioned the two-prong strategy. Why not show prong number 1, now show prong number 2. Now I have 600 and something maps to play around with, and I'm going to show you how I'm now doing speed juicing strategies. Another reason I'm doing is because there is a slight variation that I'm doing with this strategy compared to what I was doing in a previous speed juicing video. I do still think Jungle Valley speed juicing God touched magic finding does have perhaps the highest potential currency earning in the game if you're, you know, geared for it. Obviously you have to work pretty hard for the gearing on that. But anyway, the third reason I want to showcase this video, let's see, is because, you know, there's just a lot of people who are just highly skeptical of the findings of this kind of strategy, and I'll admit that 100 map session test run is not even really an adequate sample size. So I just keep doing it over and over. In fact, I have decided that later on in the league, sort of, I wasn't sure if I was going to take on any sort of major project. But I have decided that based on where the community's perception of magic finding still is, I think I will do what I'm planning to do is, first of all, get an Ascendant Tornado shot. I do want to switch over to Ascendant, so I'm going to be messing with that for a while. Once I get that up and running and it's in nice and tip-top form, I'll do this Colonnade farm again, and then I'll farm up as many maps as I can. And then I'll just run all of those maps, and we'll just call it like one giant session. So basically it's going to be something like a 700 or 800 map. Mostly, you know, 100 maps will be on the Colonnade, and then the remainder will be Jungle Valley, and it'll just be, you know, a speed juicing magic find extravaganza. And we're going to see how many God touched rares that I get in that many maps, and we're going to see how much currency I make in that many maps. And hopefully that sample size will suffice for most people. Because I do want to see for myself. I feel like I'm getting a one currency God touch about once every 10 to 15 maps on average. Probably closer to 15. And I think people kind of gawk when they hear that. They're like, what? You know, a lot of people aren't seeing him that often. I think there's a variety of reasons for that, which we can talk about down the line. And I have talked about for a while now. But here we are. We're going to do 100 more maps right here. I want to start off with showcasing the fact that you do actually have a few different options with the Sextant on this. I feel like this strategy is pretty cool because there's no sort of mandatory Sextant you really have to run. Let me show you. I find that there's pretty much 8 different potentially viable Sextants, and you really can run basically any combination of these for the most part. First of all is the Gloom Shrine. I absolutely love it. I think even with a character as powerful as mine, it does elevate the speed, and it also, especially if you run elevated, which I'm not doing today, by the way, but if you run elevated, like the one that I've highlighted here, that gives you an extra 3 random shrine effects, and one of them has the potential to be a covetous shrine. which is a pretty big deal. So this strategy does involve covetous shrines. I think people kind of undervalue the potential of that, especially when we're talking about like wandering path versus not for the strategy. Covetous shrine is kind of a big deal and will matter over the long run a fair bit. So I really like the shrine, of course, just for its raw power and ability to run the maps quicker. And next we have an interesting sextant here that, again, elevated. Now I'm showing elevated here because the elevated cost of the sextant is extremely low and you can run it pretty easily. So we got 5 additional rare packs, monster rare packs, put on the map. Of course, it's not a terrible thing. Get 5 additional rares, get 5 additional chances of getting God touched. Personally, I don't think this sextant is one of the better ones. I would put this one as probably number 8 on the list in terms of value overall. It's just when you think about the value of all the other sextants, I think it just kind of falls short a little bit, but viable. Of course, we got the big one here, +1 Legion encounter. Now, personally, if the better your gear is, the stronger your character is, the more viable this one becomes. And I think if you're going to use this sextant in the strategy, you should probably use a Gilded Reliquary. But today I'm going to showcase a Polished Reliquary because it's I'm also showcasing sort of the lowest investment, highest speed variation of the strat here. It's also kind of another thing I'm going to show in the strategy. But for me, in my case, depending on the price point of the sextants compared to each other and the difference between Gilded versus Polished Reliquary, the prices of all that, I think usually I would be better off running the Legion, +1 Legion with Gilded Reliquary with this strategy. I am not going to do that today for this 100 maps, but definitely a really good option. We also have Beyond here. Now, I have confirmed that Beyond can become God Touch. It can drop quite a few currency with the God Touch. And the tainted currencies are obviously worth a fair bit. I'm going to kind of showcase sort of a neat little trick I use to sort of, how should I say, extend the value of Beyond. As you know, that each rare or each Beyond monster you kill has a chance to spawn the boss. It can sometimes spawn very prematurely, and you kind of feel like you're not getting much value out of the sextant. I'll kind of show you a little trick you can do in the first map that can help extend the time. Hopefully I remember to do that. Hunted Traders is another one. Now, Hunted Traders for a hot second there was getting way overpriced. It was like over 20 chaos a piece. I think that's too much. At that point, I would no longer run it. But Hunted Traders, in case you're not aware, it puts additional packs of monsters on the map. I'm not sure exactly how many. I think it's somewhere around 8 to 12 additional packs of monsters. There can be rares mixed in there. Those monsters, now, historically speaking, it's been said, and this is a very old mechanic, so it's kind of outdated, but it has been said that those monsters have inherent increases to quantity and possibly rarity multipliers embedded into them. That could have all gone out the window with the recent changes this league. Nobody really knows. Nobody said anything about Hunted Traders. But one thing is for certain, front-loading monsters onto the map is always a good thing when it comes to Eldritch minion spawns. So the way Eldritch minions spawn work, whenever there are regular packs of monsters on the map, Eldritch minion hidden packs tend to spawn around them. You can verify this with maneuvering things like Delirium mirrors. You can verify that Delirium mirrors can force Eldritch minion packs to spawn in places they don't normally do, so you can kind of see how that works a little bit if you tinker around with that yourself. I probably should have actually put the Delirium mirror sextant as a possible viable option here too, yeah. Really, I probably should have. Maybe not elevated, but yeah. So I guess in that sense, we have 9 potential ones. Deli Mirror is certainly a possibility. Again, this would be a little bit more for the higher end juicing, but the price of the sextant has become very low at this point. So low that I think it might actually just outright beat Beyond, for example. Or maybe, beat Hunted Traders. I'm not sure, but I may start using this sextant again. This is down to like less than 40 chaos a piece. Quite remarkable. The Simulacrum Splinters you get, even if you get just like 40 Simulacrum Splinters at the end of the map and like 1 Deli Orb, you're still getting a lot of value back there. And nothing puts additional Eldritch Minion packs on the map quite like a Deli Mirror. So definitely a lot of value there. Another one that's kind of cool is Gilded Scarab drops from Tormented monsters. Now, if you're running Seance, which I am, this is totally viable strategy. And the faster you're and the lower level juicing, and the faster you're doing the maps, the more viable this one becomes. I think it's a terrific idea to run this one. Sometimes the price can seem a little bit out of touch, but you're going to get 12 Gilded Scarabs. The Sextant was about 34, 35 chaos apiece, so 12 Gilded Scarabs. Usually you're going to come out a fair bit ahead on that, typically. And you can always, you know, swap out the Sextants with Harvest Crafts anyway. Here's another, the last two are quite interesting actually. Map Boss, deal 20% increased damage. I don't kill the Map Boss, doesn't matter. Your maps have 20% quality. Now, the reason this is super valuable is because if you recall in the Colonnade, most of the maps that drop do not have any quality. The vast majority of the maps I'm going to be running today don't have any quality, and I will be running the Sextant. I do think it's quite valuable. Adding just additional quantity of drops from the map. Now, it's not necessarily the most amazing Sextant in the world, but I think with the kind of speed juicing and strategy, low investment strategy I'm doing today, it's one of the better ones. Yeah. And particularly pairing it up with the two-pronged strategy. Now, conversely, if your maps already have quality, like some of mine will, like these here, they already have 20% quality, because, you know, I still am, you know, like rolling some of my own, corrupting them, see if they become double corrupted. This one's really good. So instead, you're getting the rarity back onto the map. Now, I think this one, like, in a vacuum, this one's even more valuable than the one above it because, as you can see on the maps, take a map like this for a second, right here. It says item quantity 139%, item rarity 69%. So you can see that the spread of quantity versus rarity, it gets a little bit of this, a little bit short-handed there, I guess. So just getting an extra 20% is a bigger deal than getting an extra 20% quantity, I think. Especially if you have a lot of rarity on your gear, so that should be multiplicative with the rarity on your gear. I have 545% increased rarity on gear, so going from 69% to 89%, pretty big deal with that multiplier. And of course, it's actually higher than 69% because it's going to be increased effect of modifiers on non-unique maps from the Atlas passive. So those are the 8 or 9 possible viable Sextants that you can use. Let me show you which ones I am using today. We're going to be going with the Gloom Shrine unelevated. I am trying to sort of replicate sort of the lowest, easiest to acquire preparation materials. You can see it's mainly rusted scarabs, for example. Yeah, let's just actually knock out the scarabs first real quick. We've got rusted bestiary. Bestiary turned out to be one of the best sources of God Touch rares. The quality of the drop from it is diminished because INR calls the beast, but you know, it still typically drops a few divine orbs if you're running it on 8 mod corrupted maps, especially if you get some altars in there. I have seen as high as 11 divine orbs from a beast anyway. Rusted Elder Scarab, you know, I still have not 100% confirmed that Elder can spawn God Touched and Elder Rare. However, of course it is confirmed that Elder packs front-loading monsters onto the map, increases more Eldritch minion spawns, which Eldritch minions can spawn God Touched, but more importantly, they spawn additional altars. So it certainly has some value there, and it is really the only other Scarab you can use that in some way, shape, or form juices up your map that doesn't add any extra time to clearing the map. Rusted Legion, so I think Rusted is the best choice here for the strategy I'm doing today. I'm not even going to be opening the war chests unless they're like spawn currency, so I'm just going to go for the cheapest option here. Don't care about killing bosses there. And then Polished Reliquary. I can't really stomach the thought of going less than Polished on this. I think you just lose a little bit too much value. Yeah, so we're going to do Polished. It would be nice if I could, you know, do a quadruple Rusted Scarab strategy, but I think you're just losing too much value. Either Polished or Gilded you're going to want here. Alright, so we're doing Gloom Shrine, I'm doing Beyond, Hunted Traders, and depending on the map roll, so for these 20% quality maps, I'm going to try running the Gilded Scarab for a couple of them. I'm going to do the quality transferred over to rarity, or applies to rarity as well for a couple of them, and then, yeah. Then basically for the remainder of the maps, I'm going to be putting 20% quality on them via Sextant. For the Atlas passives, it's going to look very, very familiar to speed juicing. Seance is in there. I did go ahead and add Unrelenting Torment. Kind of mulling this over. In the off chance that a God Touch rare does spawn on a Seance monster, this is going to be a pretty big deal. It could be very likely happen with a beast, who could really help. And this, notice it says 30% more quantity of items. That really does basically mean 30% more divine orbs that drop off that monster. To get these 3 points here, I took 3 points out of crystal lattice here. So I don't get a huge amount of value from 15% chance to have 3 additional essences. I do like essence. It's fun, you know, to see the massive scroll of essences, to hit those essence of hysterias or whatever. But in the end, man, not really worth it. Still taking basically everything on Legion, Eater of Worlds, Shrines. Great Migration also, I should probably point out that Great Migration, I think a lot of people are undervaluing this a little bit, especially the faster you run the maps. You know, you got to think about it. The faster you run the map, the more maps you run, the more value this has. And again, beasts are terrific for God Touch farming. Again, with the exception of the culling issue. Honestly, beasts might technically be even better than Legion as far as like their proclivity to spawn as God touched rares. There's such a high chance, it's ridiculous. And yeah, okay, so Beyond is still there, still blocking the usual stuff. Delirium mirrors have about I think a 24% chance to spawn by default. It's really nice. One of the great reasons why I like the blocking strategy, non-wandering path strat. Of course, Chain of Command, another reason why I like rolling this non-wandering style. Great Migrations, another reason why. This one here for the Covetous Shrines is another reason why. Essence becomes better also, as well as you can run Seance too, so all the shrines become a lot better. So, you know, Wandering Path is a viable option for this, but man, you're throwing a lot of great things away when you're doing that, and you're basically just going to be doing a different strat, perhaps, with just pure Legion and or Abyss, if you do Wandering Path. So I really like this variation. It's more fun also. I just get a more enjoyable mapping experience, I find. So let's go ahead and take you down here. Snapshot there. We got 14 Divine Orbs. I did put an extra, so 11 Divine Orbs covered the cost of all the Sextants, which were pretty cheap, honestly. And then 3 additional Divine Orbs covered the cost of some of the various, especially with like the Polished Reliquary Scarab not being calculated. It's not really 5 Chaos apiece, as you know, so an additional was thrown in there. But no additional Divine Orbs thrown in for the maps. And that's kind of weird because it's now saying maps are 3 Chaos apiece, where it was 4 or 5 earlier, so... Anyway, we got 4202 divided by 200. And that's going to be our divines to start with. And it's our investment cost right there. So we'll move on through here. At the very end of this 100 map session, we'll see the gross net X per hour. It's going to depend a lot on the RNG. So again, 100 maps sounds like a lot. But really, it's actually not that big of a sample size. Again, I'll keep running these, and I'm going to do that major project before the league ends to help solidify, you know, some of the misconceptions possibly with how often God Touch farm. I think an interesting thing with this strategy will be seeing not just how much currency I get from God Touch, but more about, you know, how many. Let's say how many currency God Touch per hour I farm. I should be able to do this, knock this out basically in 4 hours flat. I've already ran a lot of maps like this. I know how long it takes me to run maps like this. That's extremely fast to do 100 maps in 4 minutes flat. 4 hours flat, rather. And yeah, you're going to get to see that uncut on Twitch. So the Twitch will be in the description below. But of course, for the sake of highlights and everything, I am going to cut the video on YouTube. Let's get started. Mark that here. I'm going to be pretty hungry when this ends. So I'll be taking a break from the live stream, and then I'll come back later after I get some food. Well, let's see if map number 1 can't possibly give me a God Touch rare. Oh, one cool interesting thing I did here, you'll notice that, of course, some of my maps randomly roll Beyond. So with these 8 maps that roll Beyond, I subbed out the Beyond Sextant and put the Gilded Torment Scout. It's a good idea, you know, to kind of line up some of the maps that happen to roll Beyond, because you don't need to put the Beyond Sextant on for those. You can sub out the Sextant for something else. Legion. Don't need to roll anything else. Oh, looks like I gotta pick up a... I need to pick up my... invitation. So map number 1, Delirium spawned again. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, it was a 24% chance. Now Legion I tend to run a little bit differently than normal, but basically the first thing I'm doing is I'm just going to try and find the Gloom Shrine. I'm actually going to... I've changed the way I run these maps a little bit as I've gotten even faster. I go ahead and... For a Delirium map, I do go ahead and like clear some of the front a little bit because I don't want to have to come all the way back here and lose some of the mirror. But basically now I'm just going to go pick up all of the shrines. I have 100% phasing, so this doesn't really work if you don't have 100% phasing. Not very well. Oh, of course, if I see an altar, I want to pick that up. One of the cool things that I'm doing here is I'm killing a lot of monsters. I'm spawning a lot of Beyond monsters, but I'm not actually killing most of the Beyond monsters I'm spawning. So it's going ahead and just throwing a lot of Beyond monsters onto the map, so that even if I do spawn the Beyond boss, a lot of the map has already had its Beyond monsters unlocked, so to speak. So that's kind of how I'm getting a little bit of extra value out of Beyond. By just running through it that fast and not actually clearing every single little thing. Alright, now I'm not going to necessarily open up all the chests. I will open up all Mariketh chests, but again, I'm saving a little bit of time here. Now you can see the Beyond boss did unlock pretty early here. No problem. Kill him pretty quickly. Ah, got an interesting unique off of the Beyond boss, so I think that's like a 15 to 20 chaos unique. Only got one essence. And the Delirium is caught up to me, and I already cleared this part, so yeah, there's a few extra. Now see how some Eldritch minions still spawned after that? The one cool thing about Beast is Beast forces, especially Red Beast, they keep spawning minions over and over and over and over again. This is a hidden value of Beast, and what that does is, especially if those beasts move around at all, they start spawning additional Eldritch minion packs, like beyond what you normally saw as you were kind of first going through and clearing the map. Okay, so that basically concludes that. Got a few of my... a few Gilded scarabs in there. No really high value scarab. Map's done. Oh, I forgot this map. I do need to go in and pick up that invitation that I had forgotten to do. Should be a boss somewhere. Like 5 buffs left. Okay, there we go. Okay. And that's map number 1. Now normally I don't kill the boss. I just skip him, but in the event that the Screaming Invitation is up for grabs, of course I need to do it. Now the dump tab is not counting dump A today. We're just going to be using dump B and C for this. And we'll move on to map number 2. Of course we're going to be keeping track of time. Opening and killing an essence does hopefully definitely freeze the mirror for a split second. Nice, Gilded Reliquary Scarab. Got the good one. Alright, so the Delirium gets, or the Deli Fog gets thicker. I pick up Gloom Shrine. Gloom Shrine is extraordinarily valuable, by the way, there. Oh, we just got a God Touch. Definitely just saw a God Touch behind me drop. I saw the red circle and the red star stacked on it, so... You know, it's probably not going to be premium loot because there's, like, no altars involved, but... And it probably came off an Eldritch minion or a Beyond monster, but anyway, we're about to see what it... Oh, first. Sorry, I need to pause the mirror first. Am I expecting to be on the currency left side of the tree? Not the currency, no. It's too far. It's too many points to go out of the way. It's just not enough value there. Sadly. So I hit this Legion here because I had to hit some kind of Legion early on to pause the mirror in a major way. Alright, here we go. Let's see what it was. It was 1 Divine Orb. Well, I got really unlucky there. 3 Exalts, 1 Divine. That will probably be the lowest Divine count God Touched I find in 100 maps, because that's pretty dang rare. But, and I don't think that was a beast. Now, it could have been... It might have been like a yellow beast. That might be why. Came out a little bit scuffed. I don't know. I mean, people were farming like... Oh, we got Solaris Touched. Finally. Finally. Let's be right here, no?
We will be best friends, Beast.
What? Oh, well, it's right here. What the fuck? Where is it? Oh, God, finally. Oh my God, I got absolutely destroyed by RNG. 3 divines, 5 annulment orbs. I always find like twice as many divines as I find annulment orbs. Only got 3 divines, 7 exalt. I got absolutely crushed by bad RNG there. Wow. Wow. Oh man. That hurts. That hurts a lot. I should have finished clearing the map actually, but oh. That was obviously another God Touch. 2 maps in a row, but very low drop. So that was likely a yellow beast. What that was. Probably a yellow beast. I kind of expect the yellow beast to drop rather poor like that. And that's okay. Yeah, there's still pretty large contingent of the player bases. Oh, hey, Solaris touched out of nowhere. Must have been, again, kind of a low. Wow, I did have altars and basic duplication chance there. That's 4 God Touch now in like 30 maps or less. That's a lot. But you know, I still haven't. Actually, the crazy thing is, I haven't found a single currency God Touch. Oh, this is a bad pattern I got going on here. 1 divine, 3 divines. 1 divine, 3 divines. Enlighten support with no gem altar. Wow. Okay. Randomly, right out the front. We may have an RNG switcheroo on our hands, ladies and gentlemen. Stop teleporting me. Let me corrupt that thing, please. Did I fail to click that? No. Okay. Two orbs of annulment. What? It was what? No, really? No, this Solaris touched again. There was another currency God Touch that dropped 0 divine orbs. Really? Oh my God. Yeah, I guess that was a split uniques and. Damn it. It's so bad. Oh my God, my average divine orb drop per currency God Touch is like 1.8 right now or something. Now the gods can touch my monsters as much as they want. Yeah, like that. There we go. Bro, I'm getting a currency God Touch like every map right now. For the past 5 maps. Alright. We're ramping, guys. 6 orb of annulment. These are like half the drop. They're half chance of divines. But anyway, we got 7 divines. Off another currency God Touch. There's only like 3 maps later. So, yeah. All I need, if I can even halfway keep up this pace of the number of currency God Touch, all I need is them to drop more like 7 divines each Okay. No, annuls have less weighting. Annuls definitely have less weight, like a lot less. I think exalts and divines have the same weighting, and annuls are about half of that. Oh my god, did I just see an innocence touched in here? I did. Wow, one map after another. He can't keep getting away with this. 2, 3, 4, 5. Only 8 winged scarabs though. He keeps getting away with it. How does he keep getting away with it? Kind of like 7 currency god touched in the last 10 maps or something ridiculous. Or well, I'm counting, if I counted innocence the same anyway, but yeah. What? So bad.
We will be best friends, Beast.
I thought I saw Shikari. Yeah, there it is. Well, 2 maps later. 4 divines. How many, well, that was very good RNG, because what? I didn't drop a single exalt? Man, I would have been freaking... oh, wait, yeah, I did. Darn the Legion. Yeah. Hey! Wow, well, they just keep going up. And that's actually good RNG. So I was having such terrible RNG. This is good RNG drop. 9 divines. I did get an altar too. Yeah, I have pretty good altars here with that. 252 over 170 something. I thought for a second to save that until after I finished clearing the map. I didn't double check to make sure that wasn't God touched. But I saw the other thing and I was like, that could be God touched. Oh well, let's go kill it. And 2 divines. And 5 exalts. Yeah, okay. Well, that was another currency God taking. Got your number. Oh my god, again. He keeps getting away with it. What is this though? God, twice as many exalts as divines. Jeez. I'm gonna really enjoy looking at the divine exalt spread after this. That's 2 maps in a row. Alright, heating back up. Go straight from cool to on fire. One right after the other. 3 divines though. These altars. They're good. Good altars. Good map for God touched.
Do not worry, Beast. We are friends now. We will be best friends, Beast. My mana is on. We slaughter you.
Oh yes, good map for God touched. Oh, I kind of liked it on Mesa though. Mesa felt okay. That boss was just so easy. But the only time I feel like if it's a super dependable boss location and the boss is super easy and very close to the start. I mean, Mesa is like one of the only ones that even come to mind. Hey. Good RNG. I don't know how 3 divine orbs is good RNG, but apparently it is. Must have split drop. Soul Leader. Oh. Oh! No! The God touched. Split by flasks and currency. 4 exalts. Oh my god, my average divine orb is so bad on this farm. What? I am scared to even look at it. Yeah, well, you know, Great Migration will pop out a lot of currency God touched, but you know, can be pretty bad. My 18, I've had 18 like 3 times actually, and none of them were duplicated. So I mean, theoretically, I could have like 36. Oh my god. What? That's so bad! 8 exalt, 6 annulments? Dude, that should be double-digit divines. I'm gonna somehow come out of this thing without a single double-digit divine. That's crazy. I did not expect that. But I also didn't expect to see this many currency god touch. Jeez. Wow, on almost every map now. We're back to finding them almost every single map. Well, it is results time. That was probably a few more highlights than you might have expected. Definitely found a lot of God touched in that session. Wow, total of 15. 15 currency God touched in 100 maps, plus 1 innocence touched. Definitely think that's a bit above average, even for me on there. But truth be told, I think in the whole absolute number of divine orbs, I was below average, if anything. I just double checked and saw that I only averaged 3.2 divine orbs per currency god touched. I don't think I've ever seen numbers that low. I mean, that's like not wearing magic fine with a polished scarab is what I would kind of expect. 2 or 3 divine orbs on average. Yeah, I was absolutely expecting at least 1 or 2 to be well above 10 divine orb. 9 was the most I ever saw. I saw a few that were 0. I saw 1 or 2 that was 1. Really surprised. You know, I've done this farm multiple times, and I've never seen divine orb counts that low on average. But again, usually I only find more like, I don't know, 8 to 12 currency god touched in 100 maps. More like 8 to 12, not 15. So get lucky one way, get unlucky another way. It is what it is. Let's take a look here. We got the dump tab. Oh yeah, not that one. Dump tab B and C are calculated in here. I did find one of these pretty little clusters. It is worth 65 chaos. Not going to count it in the final tally. I'm not going to pull emblems out and count them anything special. I'm also not even pulling beasts out and counting them anything special. The only other thing that I'm adding in is the 6 awaken exceptional gems that I leveled. I always manage to level at least 1 round of these, and of course we'll be double corrupting them in the gamble portion later on. So this run is very much like many of the others that I do. We're gonna fix up. I fixed up the tabs here, and there it is, 20,000. 20,000. Gotta almost scroll down here. It's a lot of highlights to put in. 20,319 divided by 200. Actually, before we put that in, let's make sure it's counting everything. Well, you can see it's not counting timeless Val emblems, but at least it's counting the others. 15 raw templums. Wow. Tainted currency, I wonder if it's counting those. Yes. Okay, yes, those are being counted. That's good. Let's check uniques. Uniques pretty unlucky, honestly. Not that amazing. Relikash is impatient, alright, but yeah, it's okay. Just note, there was definitely no major unique drop, no unnatural instinct, Aegis Aurora, or anything like that. I don't think there was a single super high value divination card. 1 dragon heart, that's going to be pretty typical. 7 scouts, yeah. Other than that, 55 divine orbs, 73. Yeah, you heard me saying it in the highlights. I knew I was getting pretty dang unlucky with the divine exalt spread on this one. Could have very easily found at least... I could have very easily got more than 100 divine orbs in 100 maps on this one if I had just, you know, gotten a bit more lucky with the divine orb drops off of the monsters. I got 1 enhance, 1 enlighten, and 1 empower support in this session. That was kind of strange, but anyway, it's all there as usual. Just kind of do this for you guys in case you want to take a snapshot. A few essences there. Essence is a pretty dang small part of the currency gains. Yeah, let's get back to this here. So we got 101. 101. Nice number. I'm going to make sure I calculate this right this time. 101.5, I guess a 60 minus the investment of 21. So actually it's going to be 86 because that's counting the 6 gems I leveled that are each worth at least 1 divine orb fully leveled a piece. And it was 5 hours. It was 5 hours. I couldn't do it in 4 hours, but it was 5 hours, so it was, you know, pretty close. It looks like it would have been over 20 divines an hour if I'd actually done it in 4 hours. But yeah, it was kind of hard to do 100 maps straight. I normally don't do 100 maps dead straight, so it kind of slowed down there a bit out of fatigue. Still 17.32 divines an hour. Yeah, a little bit let down by that. I expect this strategy to garner around 20 divines an hour or more at this point, even this one. But again, I think I can make more currency per hour by actually doing the Gilded Reliquary Scarab with the extra Legion strat that was mentioned in the opening of this video. But I wanted to show you guys kind of like, I was doing this strategy for a while. I was really enjoying it. Super fast, super chill, such a low investment cost. Under 50 chaos investment cost. Quite easy to get it to that point. If you don't count extra value added to the maps, 8 Mile Corrupted maps, which I didn't because I was able to farm up tons of them for essentially no cost. And yeah. That's it for that. We'll get the final thoughts after the gambling portion. I wonder what's going to happen with the gambling portion because, whoo, last time I got a kick in the teeth. But let's see. Maybe this time I'll have a return to glory. On the top line there. Here we go. We're going to try number 2. Woo! Hey! We got it. 1 up. Well, at least I'm not going to come out completely dry. So there it is. Gambling done. Hey, actually got a good card. I guess the gods felt like touching the divination card this time because they didn't give me enough divine orbs earlier. So that is nice. So let's see what happened. And that was only out of 113 stack decks, so definitely made positive on that. Okay. Well, 4 stayed the same, 1 down, 1 up. Pretty typical results. It's unfortunate the Enlightened didn't go up, but, you know, I would have lost a little bit of currency with this result here. Not much, but a little bit. Yeah, it's okay. Not too bad. How about Prism Guardians? We did have 1 go up, but it didn't have any of the really desirable stats, so not really worth anything special. 3 stayed the same. It was nice. My Relicash's Impatience at least stayed the same. And that's it. There it is. That was pretty quick. Gambling portion. Yes, so I suppose I do have some final thoughts on this one. Nothing too major. One of the things that I'm trying to wrap my head around with now, and that the community, I think, and maybe there's, you know, a little bit of a disconnect between what I'm saying and what the community is thinking out there, is how often do you find these currency god touched? People can pretty clearly understand and see, I think, that a solo player magic finding getting, you know, 5, 10, 15, even 20 divine orbs at a time or more with winged scarab setups, that's not too crazy anymore. I think we've all pretty much figured that out. But how often do the god touched rares come into play? And that is something I really do want to find out. I want to wrap my head around it a little bit better. Because I don't want to just keep telling people that, oh, I guess I just got lucky. I guess I just get lucky again, over and over. I do occasionally get unlucky, by the way. But no, it looks like this time definitely got lucky with how many god touch. I found 3 per hour, effectively. 3 currency god touch per hour. I mean, I would be super happy with that if you think about the math on that. If I was running Reliquary Scarabs, well, would have made really good. But how often will I see them in the long run, you know? So again, all I can do is really just keep running more runs. I have decided at this point I would like to do one major test run, kind of test run session, where I do this Colonnade farm, bank up a whole bunch of maps, and whatever maps I find, I run all of those Jungle Valley maps, and that will just that will comprise of one giant session. It would be something like 800 maps in total, somewhere around there. I think I have time enough to do that in the league, and my main goal with that would be identifying how often currency got touched farm and how much currency per got touched I get, and then how much currency per hour it ultimately makes would be nice. Of course, I'll hand select a specific strategy that's good. I think I'll pick the best strategy I think I can come up with. Doing that, it will be pretty similar to the one you saw here in this video. But this one is absolutely more relatable, especially because it doesn't force a deli mirror onto the map, and it doesn't have wandering paths, so the maps are pretty easy. Oh yeah, and it has a Gloom Shrine on it. These are easy maps. Your character doesn't have to be nearly as strong as mine to pull off this farm that I did. Now, to pull it off in 5 hours flat, of course, you'd have to be wicked fast and not die very often, but should easily be able to earn, I think, 10x or 10 divines an hour or more with this strategy. I project this will make me closer to 20 divines an hour normally. But somewhere the range is big. Obviously, the range is pretty big. But I have done farms like this and earned well over 30 divines an hour on just random 50 map sessions off stream. I do like doing around 50 maps of this type of farm, this type of really fast mapping. 50 maps, bang them out, 2.5 hours, and what do you know? I turn around and I see I made like 30 divines per hour. But yeah, we'll call this closer to something like 15 to 20 divines an hour, or maybe 12 to 20 divines an hour, not sure yet. But anyway, that's it for this one. I hope you enjoyed yet another 100 maps farming session. Next on the agenda, in the immediate agenda, will be, I'm still not sure exactly whether I want to pump out the crazy high-end juicing strategy or get that Ascendant Deadeye Magic Finder done. I kind of really want to do that too. So I think I'm probably going to build out the Ascendant Deadeye, or sorry, Deadeye, I don't know why I'm saying that. Ascendant Tornado Shot Magic Finder is what I mean to say. And get that character out and made. And looking forward to showing you guys what that is. Oh yeah, I do want to present a video showcasing this character, because the character is basically done now. So the POB you see in here, I don't really suspect I'm going to upgrade this character any further. Probably. I'm going to essentially retire it and transfer all the gear over to the Ascendant, and then work on a few little specialized things there. Different Ascendancy setups, obviously. For what I have in mind. Can't wait to bring that to you, but I should come out with a video that kind of walks you through everything that, the evolution of this character, how I got to it. Okay, well, look forward to that. I'll see you guys around. Good luck out there in the Jungle Valley. Bye-bye.